Hi everybody, my name's Kate. I'm in your multicultural class and this is my video about my research topic. So a little bit about my research topic. So I'll just tell you. My topic is this. I'm calling it the root of gender gap in STEM. How is it planted and how does it grow? A discussion of possibilities for producing a strong crop of women in the STEM fields. So I thought that was really cute play on words there. So what is STEM education? It's a curriculum based on the idea of educating students in these four specific areas: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's kind of an applied approach that incorporates all of these things together. So basically when you can be a STEM teacher and you're kind of incorporating all four of these disciplines into one area. Okay, so STEM kind of incorporates those four disciplines in the classroom. So I teach middle school, so that looks like project-based learning. So you pose problems to students that you can solve in multiple different fashions, and then students can collaborate and work together to provide evidence for how they're thinking. Most importantly, students will be able to pull knowledge off different subjects so that they can work towards an answer. So I think that's something that really is important. The reason that we have STEM, it was around for a while, it just wasn't always called STEM, is so we can prepare our students for their future. So I think the politicians are really kind of worried about, like, oh my gosh, like our students aren't nearly as prepared as other countries to go into the workplace. And using STEM, it seems that more students are becoming more and more prepared because they're being able to think critically and problem solve in like real life situations as opposed to simply using those subjects that you learn in math and writing to the test. So I think it's kind of teaching skills of investigation, problem solving, and critical thinking. So I've used a bunch of different resources, but that I found was this resource called Who Succeeds in STEM? Elementary Girls' Attitudes and Belief About STEM and Self. So I was in the intermediate school this past year, so that's 5 through 6. So I taught 6th graders advanced math, so they were actually in 7th grade math. But I thought it kind of applied to what I was looking at because they still had a lot of elementary beliefs because they weren't quite in the middle school. So in this source, I kind of discovered how the school teaching and education impacts future interests in STEM and STEM careers. The key info I found in this article were the parallel differences between courses taught in school and how the Design for STEM, which is a program, was taught outside of school. So in school, it seems teachers led and focused the discussions and projects in the classroom, while outside of the school, the students were given the opportunity to collaborate, use hands-on experiences, and exercise a little more creativity, and then be able to learn from their own mistakes. So it kind of pointed out that there's a correlation between the speed at solving problems, and the belief that boys are better than girls at STEM. I thought that was an interesting fact because so often, like I think we had a class called the Teenage Brain that last summer, and in this class we kind of learned like at this rate boys develop more of that rote memory and they're just better at solving math problems because they're quicker like this, whereas girls are a little more methodical about it. That does not mean they're not as smart, it just takes them a little longer to arrive at that answer. So that actually is my second source, but continuing on the source that I'm talking about, so it's critical that teachers do not praise speed, which is something that if you grew up like me, speed was everything. There were games for speed all over the place. We had those speed math drills, we had those basketball games. Everything was about speed and solving problems. But it's important that we don't encourage speed, but encourage accuracy and inquiry. So gaps that I'm left with after this article are about how the brains of the both genders work in the elementary, and then into secondary, which leads me to my next article that I used, or actually was a book. It's called Secrets of the Teenage Brain: Research-Based Strategies for Reaching and today's adolescents. So, in this source, I was able to find the quote, and I'm going to read it. According to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, a higher percentage of boys than girls are proficient in math and science at the 8th and 12th grade levels, though the gap is narrowing. So, and then in further research, I actually found that the gap is narrowed quite a bit since even that book was published in 2013. So, I believe that this trend can be proven with data even inside of the classrooms. This book that I'm citing, it talked about the progression of development that occurs in the teenage brain. The brain, it begins transforming, from the time you're young, obviously, but during these like adolescent years, it transforms in ways that allow students to become proficient in not only memorizing, but also understanding more complex content. So when they're younger, they really don't understand depth kind of like that, but they're starting on that path. The cerebellum, which is under construction, so that's a part of the brain. So it's kind of under construction during the adolescent years, and this is what allows students to problem solve effectively, because as it continues to form and time goes on, you are able to solve more problems and think more critically. So I believe that understanding helped me and kind of seeing why STEM and like the impact of STEM careers are not often sought by women, because I know as a woman, and this is citing myself, that when I do not do something well, it definitely tends to steer me more away from anything that I wanted to do. So I mean, like, I was actually not good at math growing up. Like, I struggled, I had a tutor, I failed things, I did things, it just happened. So I was like, I am never going to do anything with math. I'm a math teacher. So no, I'm still not that great at it. I have to work really hard, but I think that's something that helps me in my teaching. But that's what I'm saying is all through those years, I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I don't want to. And I think that gets in a lot of the minds of the girls. They see the boys whizzing through, not all boys, but some boys, whizzing through projects and whizzing through tests. And here they are struggling and stuck. And they're like, you know what, I'm just not good at it. Instead of just saying like, I'm good at it, I just take a little longer. So that's why I cited that source. And I think it was a really good one to help me with my article. So I'm going to give one more article, a little giveaway, called Women and Girls in Science and Technology. And this I actually found online. So this kind of was a study that was done, and it was kind of eye-opening to solutions that aid in women in wanting to pursue these STEM careers. So what is a STEM career? That's a really great question. So anything in the medical field, anything math related, like anything engineering or technology. So a STEM career could be like data analysis or like programming computers. So there's all these careers that are open. And it starts back, just kind of like I said, with the negativity that has an effect on women not wanting that career. Because, like I said, when something negative happens, it normally pushes you away from something you would or wouldn't want to do based on the results of that. So, if you are feeling rushed, then you might not do as well. Therefore, you get a bad grade. Therefore, you're not good at it, and you just are done. So a few of the reasons given for why there are fewer women in these positions of STEM were that the notion of men are mathematically superior. I thought it was interesting that it said the word superior and innately better suited for STEM than women. So that's a belief. It's not necessarily true, but it's a belief that people had, and it gets in women's heads. So since it's such a popular belief, it gets instilled really when children are young. So people know, oh, boys are better than girls in school or whatever, or not even school, just math. And since you hear that from when you're young, it kind of just develops with you. So there are issues that arise in the workplace, such as biases. So we all know that it seems, especially back when, I'm not going to say when, but back when, there seemed to be a really strong bias against women in the workplace. They were paid less, okay? So that pushes you away from a job. They were just around negativity. Men wanted to do men things, and they would push women away. Men try to push women out. So therefore, there are those biases that still exist in workplaces. Not all workplaces, but there are them. So the article gives that as an example. It then offers recommendations, which I think is a really cool thing, to this problem of motivating, encouraging children and offering praise for their efforts. So, one of the solutions offered is to teach students that the brain is like a muscle and it works better the more that it's used in exercise. So, in Jamie's class, we actually learned about one of the parties, we'll call them, that was advocating for a certain streamline of education, like believed that the muscle was a brain. I think it was the humanists, but don't quote me. Don't tell Jamie if I'm wrong. And these people believe since the brain was a muscle, the more you work it, the more you learn. So practice rote memory over and again would be beneficial. Now, this is not what the article is saying itself, or the study itself was saying. It was just saying that you should teach kids that it's a muscle, so it will grow, just like your muscles on your body grow when you work them out. So that you can start in one place and may not think that you're really great at something, but you can only get better by practicing, right? So I think that was something really critical that the study offered. So I'm going to continue on that journey as I write my research paper, and I will hopefully be able to share it with all of you. If not, just Dr. Tolbert. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your summer. Bye.